Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Always Almost There, Day After Show Live. We're here for our final recap of Summer Tour. It's a little one-off, a few weeks after the tour proper ended, but of course we can't skip over this festival performance. It's the band's second time at Newport Folk Festival, and I'm very excited to have making her podcast debut, as well as two other people making their podcast debut today. We've got Paige Caruso along with Harry and Sadie Caruso. Harry's somewhere there, but Paige, how are you doing today?
I'm great. How are you, Ryan?
Fantastic. I'm really excited. I'm in the middle of a fish run here in New York right now, but I'm excited to get to talk about Goose a little bit here. It's probably a good thing that Neil's not here, because we'd probably end up talking about the fish shows because he's been listening along and I've been there. But I'm ready to hear about this Newport set. You guys had an amazing day as a family yesterday. John isn't here today because he is at the festival again this afternoon, which is very, very exciting. But I want to hear from you before we get to Goose's set. What was the first chunk of the day like, getting to the festival and, some of the other music you guys caught?
Well, so John has been trying to get me to go to this for years, like years and years and years. And he's like, it's magical, like blah, blah, blah. And I was like, don't really. Okay, whatever. So it's his 35th birthday tomorrow. So I was like, I'll go. We'll take the kids. It was supposed to be really hot. I'm thinking this is gonna be miserable. So we live about an hour from Newport, and it's actually a beautiful drive. You go over some beautiful bridges, it's on the ocean. It's just there's lots of big
New England.
Yeah, it's New England. There's big rich mansions, all this awesome stuff. So we get there, we park, huge line to get in, but we get in. We get the last little spot in the quad stage. And it's beautiful. You're in this fort, and there's all these different people, and everyone's actually very friendly, and it's very easygoing. So we get there, and it's actually very breezy, and it's not that hot, because I'm worried the kids are just going to be disaster.
Roasting. Yeah.
Disaster. And it actually just was great. The whole day we wanted to get there. Harry, what was the band you wanted to see? I think it was the Huntress and the Handholders.
Okay. Harry, you got to come say it on the pod. We can't hear you.
Huntress of Holding Up Hands.
Come say it closer. Here you go.
Huntress of Holding Up Hands.
And what'd you think? Were they good?
Yeah, they're the first band. There's a song I really like from them.
What's it called?
You know what it's called?
I don't remember.
You don't remember, but you liked it. So that's awesome. Yes, we did have a question in the chat here. We do not have Borfs yet from yesterday, so I have not heard any of it aside from some video clips of the animal, which we will get to. But Harry, tell me, going into Goose's set, what songs were you hoping to hear, and how excited were you?
I was pretty excited to hear Animal with Animal, because they actually did that.
Yeah.
And he had his actual drum sets, the ones he has in what is the band called?
Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem.
Yeah, Electric Mayhem.
Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty exciting. But Paige, bringing Sadie to her first show, pretty special for you guys. For anyone who doesn't know, Sadie is named after the song "Lead the Way," which I know you have a very special connection to. But how are you feeling going into this Goose set and bringing Sadie to her first one?
Well, so it's pretty exciting. So we decided that for the first song, we were going to go up to the pit.
Yeah.
So John wore Sadie. We brought them up. We had their headphones on and everything. And of course, typically, you know them.
Yes.
It was, they weren't punctual as usual. Sorry.
Of course.
And
even for a 60-minute festival set,
it was, I was hopeful, but gotta love them anyways. So I was hoping for I knew there'd be some good stuff, because it is a festival, so you're showing off what you got. So they opened with California Magic, which great. I love California Magic. It's one of my favorite newer songs. So I was pumped. And yeah, a lot of the people around us, there was a couple of people who were definitely like fans, like knew what was going on. A lot of new people just checking them out, which was awesome.
Was Sadie excited about Cali Magic?
So Sadie was getting a little tired at that point. We were still good. No whining. No one was crying. We were just chill. She was just chilling on John. Yeah.
What did he say?
Harry cut his finger on a soda can, so he was a little bit, but we're good.
Okay.
So California Magic, Harry and I listened to California Magic during Silver Rising. We started to head back to our seats.
Mm-hmm.
And John came back and Sadie fell asleep during Silver Rising. So Sadie was out.
All right.
Yeah, at that
Sadie
point.
got to experience a song and a half. Like that's pretty good for, how old she is.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, I was surprised to see Madhavan pop up during the set. Thank you to John, who was texting me the set list, as well as Rich Atkin, who also did it without me asking him this time, which is very nice. But I was surprised to see Madhavan pop up in a set like this. I figured there would be more of an emphasis on the more mellower songs, given that it's, an afternoon at Newport Folk Fest. But how did you feel that Madhavan went over with the crowd? Obviously it wasn't a huge jam, but that one usually can get to some places in a short amount of time.
Yeah, so John immediately was like, oh, this, usually this is a ride. And it's a festival set. So you're like, we'll see what we get. I thought that it fit right in well. It did have a little bit of a ride, but they, cut it. And that's like, they did great. Like, not jamming too long that they had to cut more songs.
Right.
So I really think they did. It fit well. And at that point, we were further back and there was more people standing up and getting into it than there had been that far back for some of the other earlier sets.
Love to hear it. That's great. And then, Don't Do It, Lead Up, more solid songs. Lead Up, in hindsight, makes perfect sense to play at a festival, highlighting the songwriting. This is definitely one of their best new songs. And I'm sure, coming out of the studio where they, I hope, we're playing that. And I think this set is also going to give us, a little bit of insight into some of the stuff they've recording. I'm sure Cali, Silver Rising, Lead Up, and Animal were all put down on tape during the sessions, but obviously we have no idea for now. But what were your thoughts on Don't Do It and Lead Up?
Oh, that was good. Don't Do It's always a great cover to get. Just always great. And I'm trying to rack my brain if I've gotten a Lead Up yet.
Philly.
I was like, I think I did in Philly.
Yep.
But that was a few months ago. And John, I know John was pumped to get a Lead Up. He's been wanting one of those. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No kidding. And before we talk about the main event, we do have some words that John sent over since he had to miss the podcast. This is from John Caruso, everybody. Everyone needs to experience the Newport Folk Festival at least once in their lives. There's something truly magical about the venue, people, and vibe that make it my favorite festival. Some of the best festival experiences I've ever had have been here. This is his 5th year. And he had the best time at Goose, of course, and Animal, and my kids' reaction to that will be what I remember the most. With great song choices. So this Animal thing, obviously Animal played with My Morning Jacket on Friday. And so, it was cool to see him pop up a second time at the festival. But what was it like, how did Peter announce that as what was going to happen?
Well, so little side note first. On the ride there, because we had seen that Animal was there the day before, I'd go, how funny would it be if they had Animal on Animal? Just like total BS, like just joking.
Yeah,
that's not going to happen. So Peter's like, all right, we got one more for you. We're requests. So I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, this is it.
They're playing Shama.
I'm like, I'm finally getting it. I was like, this is the moment we've been waiting for. And then all of a sudden he said something about Jeff, and then there was Animal. And it was like, oh, all right.
Yeah.
And it was just like everybody at that point, like that was near us.
Mm-hmm.
Because there was like, empty seats because people do move in between stuff and everyone's up. And I was shocked only because we'd kind of heard like different things throughout the day, but like thinking more Muppets may like show up somehow.
Yeah.
But we thought more with like John Baptiste's set because it was with him and friends. So we're like,
Yeah.
oh, you know. But so it was shocking to actually see that. And Harry just it was who doesn't love Animal?
It's true. Is Harry still around? Can we get
yes,
his
Harry,
initial
come here,
reactions?
honey.
Harry, can you tell us about
Harry.
your initial reaction when they said that Animal was going to come on stage to play Animal with Goose?
Yeah, come here. Tell what your reaction was when you first saw the Animal was out with Goose.
I really screamed my pants off.
You know what? I have done that a number of times at Goose shows, and so I love it. Was it a good version of Animal with Animal? Like, did he contribute well to the song?
He did.
Yes.
He threw in some stuff there. He threw in some things.
I like the show more because they had baby Animal. They had a baby.
Perfect.
Animal.
Yeah. There were some videos posted on social media of the sit-in that was pretty cool. How they had him like throwing in some of like his like like here and there in the song. And it looked like whoever was controlling Animal there knew the song. It looked like he was playing knew the breaks and everything. But it was that's a pretty unique moment in Goose history too.
It definitely was.
Yeah.
It was something very unexpected, but it just definitely was very memorable. And like John and Harry, like as soon as that happened, went straight back up front. And
nice.
We're like, because it was crazy.
Mm-hmm. I think that is the oddest setlist thread tweet I've ever put out. Like Animal with Animal in brackets the Muppet on drums.
I know.
It's really interesting.
I texted my family. My mom was like, "Was Animal obnoxious when he played with them?" I was like, "Well, yeah, he did his Animal thing. Like he was Animal."
That's great. Well, thank you, Paige. Any final thoughts on the set?
I think it was a great song selection for what the timing they had, and it did really great job. And we should all shout out tomorrow to John Caruso, who is turning 35.
Happy birthday, John! And before we go, I mean, Harry, if you want to come back, after the set later in the day, people in the chat here, 902 Vickers, he wants to hear about Harry meeting Rick, which did happen later on in the day. Sadie met Rick too.
Yeah. I did
Sadie,
not.
You took a poorly timed bathroom break. But Harry, are you there to tell us about
Harry, do you want to talk
Rick?
about meeting Rick? He does not want to talk about meeting Rick.
He does not want to talk about meeting Rick. Well, I'm sure you've heard about it. Were they excited to?
Yes. So I guess how it went down was he walked by and John, no shame, was like, I gotta go.
Yeah, of course.
Gotta go at him.
Yeah.
And this lady next to us was like, he shook his hand, it was amazing, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh yeah. But yeah, it was great. And we later on, Harry and I were in our spot and John had gone to grab food and Harry goes, oh my God, Mom, look. And Peter was a few spaces behind us.
Mm-hmm.
And he did wave to us, so I hope that was actually not just in my head. He did recognize and wave to us, but it could have been in my head. Yeah.
What did he say?
He goes, yeah, he did actually wave to us.
Awesome. Well, that's a really cool encounter to have at the festival. And Peter sat in with Maddie Cunningham on Friday night during a piano recital thing at the festival, which we do not have a set list for yet, but I look forward to seeing what they played. I know there was a Beatles cover that a clip was posted of on Instagram, but I'm working on getting that set list, putting it on elgoose.net, of course. Harry, do you have anything else to add about Goose or meeting Rick or anything about that before we wrap up?
Kind of just a couple of things I want to show you.
Yes. What you got?
So I make fun stuff like this.
That's pretty cool.
Made that in ceramics at summer camp. There you go.
That's very exciting.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Carusos, for being on the show today. It's been a pleasure to have you guys on, making your debut. Happy birthday to John tomorrow. Really glad you guys got to experience, the show as a family yesterday. Obviously, for me, seeing shows with my family is my favorite thing. I'm going to see a third Fish show with my parents tonight for this week. So really excited about that, of course. And it's kind of bittersweet, this episode here. You know, we're not going to be doing another one for 6 weeks or so, if you can believe it, until the beginning of Fall Tour in September in Boston, which you and John will be at, I believe.
Yes, we are. We have not obtained tickets, but we have obtained a babysitter. So that's
that is much more difficult than
that
getting
is much
tickets.
harder.
So that's really exciting.
I'm leaving early. So we'll get there.
So awesome. So 6 more weeks until Goose is back on the road. You know, they're taking some much needed time off now, you know, after spending July in the studio and being on the road so much the first half of the year. So really excited for Fall Tour. And if anyone hasn't listened yet, our Summer Tour recap episode, all 3.5 hours of it, is available wherever you get your podcasts. Of course, this could be where you're listening to this right now. Who knows? But it's been a pleasure, again, chatting with you, Paige. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to this episode of Day After Show. Enjoy the rest of your summer. We will see you